Hi, welcome to Jadekind Gaming. My name is Adam. Today I will be unboxing more Bones 5. This time a selection of add-ons that I picked up. I got the Greek Odyssey, Dark Depths, and Brinewind add-ons. I've said in the other videos, but these are from the Reaper Bones 5 Kickstarter, which is just delivered. And Reaper has said that they are reopening the pledge manager due to how many people never finished their pledges. So if you want to get in on it, you can still go to the Reaper pledge manager if you're within, I think, a month or so of when I upload this. And you can back, it's like, I think, 20% extra if you're just now joining. But still, great deal for some great minis. And I'll show you the ones in these add-on options here. I will start. And the Greek Odyssey pack says on it, the Reaper Greek Odyssey expansion contains over 20 highly detailed Bones Black miniatures, ready to paint or play with right out of the box. I guess you could play with them gray. A couple of them are like statues. I mean, I guess that wouldn't be too weird. Oh. Alright, what do we want to... grab this guy first. Okay. So one thing immediately is it looks like, not all, but at least some of the expansion figures have been assembled. These are already glued together. None of the ones in the core set were. But this centaur, which is a little larger than just one. He's obviously bigger than 1 inch base, but he almost fits in a 1 inch space with the actual round base that he's on. So if you wanted to get away with him as the playable version of the centaur in D&D, you could. And the Minotaur is very much 2x2. Very cool looking. Very neat. Again, large size base on this lion now. Perhaps Hercules will deal with the lion. And in general, just, a lion. A large lion, useful. Here's one that needs assembly. Two wings to attach. Very nice feathers on those. And next for a Pegasus. This one here, I think a hippogriff, has both an arm and 2 wings to attach. Again, lovely sculpting on the feathers. This one kind of fits in 1x2 as far as the base size. Got a little fawn. Very nice. Some PC or NPCs for sort of a Greek setting. Some boars. Oh, this other boar is actually a slightly different sculpt. Satyr, maybe? Satyr, fawn, what's the difference, eh? Of a soldier. Fitting the theme there. There's the hero himself, Hercules. is scroll. This one has a very like tall base compared to usual. Archer. We got a panther, maybe. Other lion, I'm not sure. Got a harpy. Vile looking. And another. We got a big statue, and that reminds me, as a warning, some of the minis in this set might be topless ladies coming up. So, a couple of them. Obviously, they're art, so is fine. But if that offends you, figured I'd give a warning. So this would be Zeus, and there's a pillar to match him that brings up the subject, as there is Hera. And that's leaning. Oh well, they can be bent back with hot water. And then we have our Medusa that is, you know, large base. Wonderful snake scales. Here's the snake tendril hair. Very cool. We have this big brute mechanized defender, if it were. We have a Hydra. There's a snake-bodied Hydra. Let's see if I can. I'll hold them in the place here and then show you some of the detail on this. Snake-headed as well. Yeah, many snake heads of the Hydra. We have a Cerberus. So this base is 3x3, and he goes on. That, and then anyways, so heads, the Cerberus, big old dog. Okay, so in this one, there's, I'll put it together, I think it's a Cyclops. There's a, at first I was like, is this real rope? It's not, it's just bones, but, so, base, on which oh. Okay, and two hand options. You could either be holding a sheep or a club made out of a pillar. And this is a necklace. I get it now. So, knee armor there. Got a variety of sheep around belt. Interesting facial expression on both the sheep option and the club option for his hand. Base being slightly larger than 2x3. Come on. So we have this giant, which is in mini pieces. Base alone, just shy of 3x3. Is in a few pieces of its own for its terrain. And both her arms are separate. This one holding some sort of scepter. This one just a clenched fist. She sort of stands on top of that rubble. Giant. And that was the contents of Greek Odyssey. Now we will move on to Dark Depths. Contains over 30 highly detailed Bones Black miniatures ready to paint or play with right from the box. So we're gonna dump these out. All individually bagged. That being said, I'll cut out all that time for you. I open a bag, take a figure, and we take a look. We have a little aquatic, I think they call them goblins. They look like they've been hybridized with various sea creatures. Kind of creepy. Oh, this one's got pufferfish. One's slightly bigger than the others at a full 1 inch base. The others were slightly smaller than that. And we got other sea or maybe even swamp monsters. This one has like a crossbow. This one's got like a spear. And look, quite nice. Like I mean, with the tails they have, this one's swimming. So it works well for underwater scene. It feels just a bit bigger than the last few. And these basically 1x2 base. These couple of sea beasts covered in some sort of seaweed and gunk. Could be fun to paint up. Then we have a trio of matching little shark fins. Those will go nice around the Reaper boat. And we got a bunch of animals underwater. This dolphin. A lot of them work like this. You see, this dolphin is separate from this, and there's a little bitty pin. And I'm like, that is the most fragile little thing that it's going to be attached by. That feels like it's going to end up breaking at some point, but, you know, time will tell. And the same setup for Manta Ray, except I don't think there's actually a spot for the pin to go. It just kind of, maybe does it set on a few bits of it? You just glue it on or something? I don't know. But a vicious looking Manta Ray. And here's one with a shark. And a hammerhead shark. All just kind of up on little bits of coral. Ah, this one is cool. This is a dolphin on a wave. So like this goes above the water. And obviously if you need to use any of them above or under, you could do whatever. But and it's just sitting on there. You have a big clam, a little pearl, barnacles on it. Very large, like basically going into a large size creature. We have this shark, which is the same kind of base. It kind of fits in a 1x2. So much larger shark to deal with. And while we're dealing with larger creatures on these, we have this ancient looking giant fish. I mean, like, compared to a person-sized figure. And a somewhat smaller fish of the same old look. Well, this one fits in a medium-sized space. And a jellyfish. So this just sort of fits in a 1-inch space on the base, and then it's a little bigger on the top. And you got jellyfish and like some tendrils down from the bottom that at some point turn into ground, and it is 2 separate pieces. These are kind of stiff and it's hard to get it in there, but obviously you'd want to paint them separately with whatever color you add on. We got a whole assortment of merfolk. All in this beautiful style where they're, you know, swimming up from little bases, making very tall. And like this one is 3 inches tall, but it fits just in a normal 1-inch space. So and as they are designed to be underwater, you get the awesome hair, like it's floating. I'm just a really big fan of some of these. These are going to be fun to paint. So it's like, how though? What do I do? Bright colors, subdued. Kind of fish are they based on? Got some warriors in here, so you can have fights with merfolk. That's fun. I'm gonna put that down. That's long hair flowing up there. Very nice. And I believe this one is a hippocampus. Kind of fits roughly 1x2. Which obviously other ones that are like, it fits in a 1x2 is generally going to be still a large because it's bigger than a 1x1. But let's try and give a little more detail. And this is clearly one that was multiple pieces because that would not fit in a normal mold, but they've already assembled for us. Which means less gluing for me to do, but also more work in painting, because I have to paint around there instead of painting it before I assemble it. And this feels base basically fits within a huge area, just 3x3. A detail on the base. And the stone for this one goes into gargantuan. It's like 4x4. And this is like a stone that it's sitting on. And it's this Loch Ness monster, and it's got flippers that fit on the back too, but some assembly required. Well within gargantuan at this point. So I'll take him off. You can see the base, which has a number of pieces that are separate. Sure, for undercuts. One of the minis I painted on is on my Instagram is the dragon turtle from a previous Bones. It was a very cool one, and it also had a very cool base with lots of detail, and that was fun to paint. You got a base, and then this giant crocodile. Its top of its mouth is separate. And with these kind of peg bases, you can actually leave them separate, and gravity holds them on the peg pretty well. Okay, this one was a mess. Okay. This one will take glue before it sits it all. So you have a base here, underwater, a boat. So it goes within 3x4 space. You have this thing. Okay, so there you can at least kind of see what its head looks like. It's got horns and spikes and such. And quad. A lot of hands. Each hand separate and webbed for swimming. Sort of sea dragon monster. Our penultimate figure here is not quite a beholder. Just go out a little further. So on a 3x3 base, skulls and such, you have it there. And then it's in many pieces I've kind of assembled. It's tendrils at the bottom, teeth are separate. It has a big central eye, two large eye stalks. It has two more eye stalks that kind of come out there on each side. So two little eye stalks. It also has arms, so not quite a beholder. So I'd have to figure out how it. There are big pincer arms on each side. So yeah, there's that. I have a game that could call for some aberrations similar to but distinct from a beholder. And finally is this guy. He's got pieces. He's already a few pieces. So, this based first him. He's got a bunch of detail and like sores and growth bits. But let's just go over where all these pieces go. And a couple. Oh, this is separate. Like some pieces would stay on. He's got a giant sword. It goes at his side. He's got little barrels that stick on there. He has a treasure chest. He has a shark. Shark has a spot to pin right there, just hanging down by its side, just in case he gets peckish. Arm. This arm has like a boat And he's wielding an anchor. Yeah, so he's got an arm over here. On the other side, he has a hand. And this hand holds this bent mast that, of course, I could unbend, but yeah, so lots of details. Yeah. So that was the figures from Dark Depths. Very cool. Dark Depths. And we have one more expansion that I picked up. Brine Wind. 40 highly detailed Bones of Black miniatures in this one. It's more in each one. However, this is the smallest box. Most of these are normal sized figures. But, we will open it up and we will take a look at them all the same. So we got Skeletal Guy. Nice. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of skeletal guys in here. For your good old Pirates of the Caribbean story, if you need be. Lots of pirate skeletons. Skeletons can be fun to paint. In fact, when they're less detailed than this, they're easy to paint. These will still be some effort. Got a pegleg. See, this is an interesting one to think of a use for. This is two minis permanently stuck together. So shy of saying there was an error during the Raise Dead spell and these two cannot leave each other's side, I wouldn't know how to use them. But then again, that would be a cool use for them, is just saying, hey, these two cannot leave each other's side and they're pulling against each other. But, yeah, whole grouping of pirate skeletons. This one has treasure. Good for him. This one did the work to get the treasure since he has the shovel. This one has a hook for a hand. Nice 3-point hat. Tricorn. This one's still just trying to reach the bottom of the bottle. Oh, we had these ones. They like came up with like a weird story for these, and like the idea is like through all these holes in their bloated bodies are like eels that are slithering about, and it's ew. There's a couple of them here, but I mean, yeah, that's gross. If I want to put my players against gross monsters, which I mean occasionally you do. Now we get some more fleshy pirates. This one's got a whole barrel. Okay. Fabric tied around his ankle. It looks a little uppity and very bent forward. Again, hot water can fix, but that is a thing that happens with bones. You may just get them all bent out of shape. Use hot water. Got a foaming tankard of ale. Weird shape for a base. So this was an expansion that has so many just normal size minis, but because I got the ship, they're all thematic to go with the new pirate ship. Whether as pirates attacking the players or as crew for the player's ship, whatever's needed. I'm like, lots of options available in this little set. It also has characters good for working on docks, that kind of environment. Which, if my players are in a game where they have a ship, they may spend some time at the docks. Here's someone who is sewing up a sail. Or something, whatever. Pistol. It's got a accordion. Large fish. Sort of a captain look here. Large feather in the hat kind of thing. Oh yeah, we had a couple that were catfolk. Tabaxi, perhaps. What a great swashbuckling rogue. And the weird shrine. For whatever purpose you might want that. And I think they called them doxies. Ladies of the night. Like you got yourself a half orc lady of the night. Come on. Working out on the dock. She's got a dagger behind her back. Ooh, don't cross her. And to go with them is a bed. Just sort of a mermaid on one side there. A little rat. And that looks like almost like Mr. Bones on that end. And it's in a few pieces. We have this hanging shark base that's like 1 by just over 2 inches. And this basically large size base on which there's the pirate's wheel that doesn't quite fit in there. Like I feel like the hole was not quite, but whatever. It's plastic that can be easily cut, and then there'll be a skeleton captain that stands beside it. So, and then we have this guy on the anchor, which for one lets me think, oh yeah, skeletons can also just be skeletons, but he could be animated and just tied to the anchors down in the depths. But it could also just be like if they're underwater, they find a loose anchor with someone had been killed this way, and they're just still there. Interesting idea. What if that skeleton has something that the players need? Yeah, this is an interesting little assortment. We have this a little bag. Some of these are like bagged together, and you have this guy. I think he's a merchant. I think that's the concept behind it. So that's why they're all grouped together. So he is a merchant. He has this little stack of boxes leaning on other boxes with like fruit in it, and like some pillows that could probably go on top of one of the loose boxes. And this, separate from that even, is just cool. Got a little monkey playing an accordion. And then a barrel. swine. You know, just general set dressing also is also useful. So then we have this cook fellow who has a little table with some meat being chopped up. And here is functions as a huge base onto which this ogre would go. The ogre's got barrels and bags of stuff on its back, but that's not all. The reason the base is quite so big, you have this cart, which has wheels that will go on either side. The cart has chests and barrels and bags and etc. And it's, in and of itself, 2 halves. That has his hands on it because he would be carting it around. So, some sort of merchant ogre. We got a couple more of these gross guys. This one's got one of the eels pulled out. Ugh. We got a female one. It's going in her eye. We have a ghost pirate, I suppose. If I don't want him to be a ghost pirate, I can just paint him normal, though. But it's transparent, so ghost is an option. This could either be some sort of evil merfolk or some sort of pirate altar, I think they suggested. It's a bit larger than a 1-inch space. And we got like an otter pirate carrying around a little treasure chest. He's got a little clam friend handing out a pearl with a face that makes me think of the doorknob in Disney's Alice in Wonderland. And sort of an otter mage. And one last figure in the set is an otter sailor again. A little grouping of those otter fellows. And so that was Brine Wind. Brine Wind, Dark Depths, and Greek Odyssey. Lots of figures. Some larger ones in some of the earlier sets, but a lot also of smaller ones, particularly in Brine Wind. But it's like it's got all the pirate themed stuff I need for my pirate ship. I gotta have that. Got some cool thematic stuff. Merfolk, the merfolk that are like floating, those are highlights. Some cool stuff from the Greek one, useful stuff from the Brine Wind. Awesome. Like the video? Comment which of the expansions was your favorite, or did you pick up one of the ones I skipped out on? And if that one was particularly good for some reason, let me know why. Because, like I said, there's late backing options for the first time ever on the Bones Kickstarter after the Kickstarter has delivered to the original backers. So I too can go and for a 20% increase get more stuff. So if I missed out on an expansion that I just shouldn't have, let me know. Otherwise, subscribe if you haven't. I believe I'll have one more of these Bones 5 videos still to come after this, so keep an eye for it. Thank you for watching. Bye.